Hey folks, welcome back. I've been bored as hell lately, but I've managed to somewhat satiate my boredom by studying magic. It's really amazing, man. Not only has the world of the dark arts gone completely online, but they have all kinds of spells about all kinds of new modern stuff these days. I even found one that'll make me famous on YouTube. All I have to do is snap my fingers. Let's try it out. Okay, here we go. Well, while we're waiting for that to work, how about a YouTube video? About something, I don't know. The internet is amazing, right? See, that intro wasn't completely unrelated. We're living in an amazing futuristic time where you can get millions of eyes on your project or idea with relative ease. Emphasis on relative. In my opinion, one of the biggest examples of the magic of the internet are independent video games. It really is incredible to me that indie games get regularly as much, if not more, publicity than AAA games these days. Indie games went through somewhat of a renaissance during the late 2000s and early 2010s, with titles like Braid, Super Meat Boy, and Castle Crashers achieving huge popularity despite being low budget and made by relatively unknown developers. Of course, unfortunately, here we are 10 to 12 years later and we've kind of gone full circle. Like so many absolute bangers of indie games come out on a regular basis that there's a ton of really dope games that fall under the radar. Let me take you back a couple years. I was sitting at my computer when I thought, man, my girlfriend and I don't even know each other's names. We should do something to build a relationship better. So I went on Steam and searched for co-op games. And one of the results I was given was an indie game called Wizard of Legend. So I bought it, we played it, and now we live together. You can't deny those results. Wizard of Legend is a 2018 indie game developed by Contingent 99 and published by Humble Bundle? Now for those of you who are fucking idiots, let me explain. Humble Bundle is essentially a digital storefront, but I would assume that most people know them for their indie bundles. Basically the way it worked was you would give them a small amount of money, usually however much you wanted over a certain value, and you would get like 5 to 10 games, and a portion of the profits would go to charity. The first one I got was Humble Bundle 5, which was awesome. It had Super Brothers, Sword and Sorcery, which I've never played, Limbo, Amnesia the Dark Descent, Psychonauts, Bastion, Lone Survivor, Braid, and Super Meat Boy. Like, look at that. That's a bunch of dope games for no money at all. Are you stupid? Wait, you don't like saving money? What was I talking about? Wizard of Legend, right, yeah, okay, sorry about that. So yeah, Wizard of Legend came out in 2018 and nobody cared about it. What the hell, man? Like I said, I just stumbled upon this game and it's fucking awesome. Myself, Parrish, my friend Dakota, and my friend Noah went absolutely hard on this game. But anyway, let's get into it. You start in this museum area, which serves as both a tutorial and an introduction to the story. Basically, the museum exhibits explain that there used to be a sort of tournament called the Chaos Trials, where wizards, presumably ones of legend, would fight a league of sorcerers for glory or whatever. One of my favorite things about indie games is the fact that NPCs are always personalized enough that you can assume that they're either friends of the developers or like Kickstarter backers or something. It's the same with the pictures on the wall. Like, look at this one. They have a little dog. He helped with the game. So yeah, that's the premise. After the museum, they throw you in. You play as a wizard of legend, going through the Chaos Trials to become the ultimate wizard or whatever. You've got 4 attacks, a basic attack, which is your weakest attack, but it doesn't require a cooldown, so it's your move for wailing on enemies while you wait for your other abilities to cool down. You've also got a forward dash, which is used to get across gaps, and it's useful for avoiding enemies. Each dash also has an attack along with it. It has a cooldown, but it doesn't prevent you from dashing. Like, here's an example. I use this bubble move that pushes enemies. If I dash again before the cooldown is up, my guy still dashes, the bubble just doesn't come out. Finally, you got your standard and signature attacks. Your standard attack is stronger than your basic and has a longer cooldown, and your signature attack is like your ultimate attack. It does the most damage. You also have a little bar that fills up as you deal damage, and when it's full, you can unleash a super powerful version of your signature attack that does damage up the wazoo. The kind of cool thing is that all the signature and standard attacks are interchangeable. You can set any of these spells to either of these slots, and they'll just do more or less damage depending on which position you put them in. The spells are called Arcana, and they come in 5 different elements: earth, wind, fire, water, and electricity. The game basically starts you with next to nothing. You have to play the Chaos Trials to make money to buy spells. Also, every time you beat one of the bosses, you get rewarded with a free spell that you can choose to start the game with in the future. Other than Arcana, you can customize your relics and get a cool new outfit. Relics are like a little item that you bring along with you into the Chaos Trials that help you out. They're broken into 3 categories: offensive, defensive, and miscellaneous. In my experience, it's usually best to go with the miscellaneous ones. Like the offense and defense ones just kind of raise your attack or your crit crit chance or resistance or whatever. The misc ones make a lot of tangible differences. Like there are relics that give you discounts at the shop, and one that shows you the entire map right off the bat, which is super useful. Normally you have to discover the map while you're going through the level. But enough f***ing around. It's go time, baby. It's time for the Chaos Trials. Okay, wait, slow down, I wasn't ready yet! So this game is a roguelike, meaning that every time you go into the Chaos Trials, the maps are all randomly generated. Each time you enter, you get a screen showing which 3 of the 5 members of the Council of Magic you have to defeat before progressing to the final boss. There's Flame Empress Zeal, Frost Queen Freya, Earth Lord Atlas, Wind Sovereign Shu, and the Thunder Twins. Before you reach each of the bosses, however, you have to go through 2 dungeon crawling levels that are themed based on which boss you're fighting. So for example, if you're fighting Flame Empress Zeal, you'll have to go through 2 fire-based levels with a few unique enemies. If you manage to get through all 3 bosses, you move on to the final battle with Master Sura, who uses Chaos Arcana and a mix of the other 5 elements. The trials get progressively more difficult, and by progressively more difficult, I mean the first set of levels is hard, the second set of levels is f***ed, and the third set of levels just don't even bother, okay? You can't do it. Your father was right about you all along. No, but like, this game is really hard. Like, look at this. I do this in my free time. It is a lot of fun, though. I had an easier time getting a Bachelor of Arts than beating this game. Might I add that I have accomplished one of those 2 things in my life. But it's not unfair, just super challenging. The bosses are pretty simple when you get down to it. Not easy, just simple. They do a few attacks and then do a little taunt, and if you hit them while the guard is down, you can stun them for a few seconds and you can lay the smackdown on them for a short period. Obviously, they ramp up in difficulty. The first boss does 3 attacks before you can hit them, the second boss does 4, yada yada, etc., you get the picture. And then there's Master Sura, who... holy f***, man. I've never personally beat him. I've gotten close in co-op, but holy smokes, he is a hell of a final boss. But if you somehow manage to squeeze a victory over Master Sura, you unlock a random Chaos Arcana, which are super overpowered. So that's the Chaos Trials, the real meat of the game. But in my opinion, one of the most important things about this game are the characters. So let's talk about that right now. Because I don't know how to structure YouTube videos. Leave me alone. There are a bunch of NPCs in this game who are pretty much all merchants, and they show how fucking brilliant the character design in this game is. Probably the 2 most important merchants are Artisan Andres and Virtuoso Iris, who sell you relics and arcana respectively. These 2 always show up in every level of the Chaos Trials, allowing you to buy relics and arcana to use temporarily during your current run of the trials. But you can also find them in the little hub world area. If you buy stuff from them here, it gets unlocked permanently for future use. Also, Virtuoso Iris is probably my favorite character aesthetically. Like, look at her. She's a painter with a big-ass paintbrush. On top of the 2 main merchants, there's always 1 or 2 extra characters who randomly show up in the Chaos Trials. First you got Savile the Tailor, who sells you outfits in the hub world, and if you find him in the Chaos Trials, he'll upgrade your outfit in exchange for money and a chunk of your health. Also, like, look at this dude. He's hilarious. He's got a hat on, and it's one of those little tomato pushpin whatever things that everyone's mom has. That's fucking adorable. Next is Knox the Unfortunate, a spooky hooded fella who gives you curse relics, which don't cost money, but they give you a positive effect at the cost of a negative effect as well. Like for example, if you get one that boosts your health, it might also lower your defense. These can be really useful if you're strategic about it. Dr. Song is a little floaty vampire lady who will take one of your arcana in exchange for a random selection of a unique relic that you can only get from her. Tavi the Pinata is a pinata. He's exactly what you expect. You just unleash all your spells on him until he explodes, and he gives you a bunch of gold and a free enhanced arcana. Creemire the Collector is pretty cool. He'll give you money in exchange for relics. This is useful sometimes because you can pick up random relics, and if you don't really care for the effect they give you, you can make some money off them. Nocturne the Cardist is a little magician guy who takes one of your arcana and shuffles 5 random enhanced arcana, and you can pick one free of charge. You can also find this guy in the hub. He'll randomize your spells, your outfit, and your relic for your next run of the Chaos Trials, which can be kind of fun. Parrish and I actually dressed as Nocturne the Cardist and Virtuoso Iris for Halloween a couple years ago. Not to flex, but Contingent 99 actually retweeted the picture of us in our costumes. Even though I accidentally called Virtuoso Iris Virtuoso Isis. Finally, you got Doki the Banker, who will take all your Chaos Trials currency and exchange it for gems, the currency you use to buy stuff in the little market square. Oh, and also there's this dude who appears right before you fight Master Sura, and will warp you back to the beginning of the Chaos Trials if you fucking hate yourself. There's also a few NPCs who only appear in the main hub. This lady will let you start the Chaos Trials with 200 coins in exchange for gems. This dude will let you choose which council member you start out with. This lady activates hard mode, and this dude lets you do boss rush mode. And then of course there's the gang of Beauty and the Beast looking ass sentient inanimate objects. Or I guess, animate objects? The chest holds your relics, the book has all your arcana, the wardrobe has your outfits, this little camera will let you save and load builds, and this little mirror guy lets you warp back to the museum if you want to, say, record it for a YouTube video. And that's Wizard of Legend, baby! This game is so fucking good and underappreciated. I spent so much time with my friends playing this game a couple years ago. Just go buy this game, man. If you got $20 laying around collecting dust, I promise you that this is a good place to put it. Would I lie to you? Okay, now that the fun's over, let's check on the status of that spell. Okay. Damn it, why didn't it work? That's it, I'm checking the website. Warning, this spell does not work on gamers. Why does this keep happening to me?